Okay, you're good to go.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is April 18th, the joint committee meeting for accessibility with the city of Williamsport. My name is Jay Harnwright. If everybody wants to say hello real quick, go right ahead.
I'm John Sander with the city. Hi.
I would say the city's here, Derek Slaughter, mayor, and then we have Councilman Allison with us as well.
And this is Misty Dion with this Roads to Freedom Center for Independent Living. I'm here.
And Karen Koch, also with Roads to Freedom Center for Independent Living.
This is Brian Patchett. I'm here.
Does everyone have the agendas for that I sent out earlier today?
Yep.
Yes.
We're going to share it on the screen, or
I
I mean, we don't have to.
mean, if everybody has it, we don't have to share it. Excuse me, sorry. All right, so we will start with item 1 with the work plan updates. Last week I had sent out an email with the work plan from our end with the proposed modifications and the progress that has been made so far. Has everybody received that and had a chance to take a look at that?
Yeah.
And then, yep, we took a look, and then, so on our end, obviously we're continuing through. A lot of work has been completed. John Sander, I believe, sent out an email earlier today. Can I confirm that everybody received that? All right. So,
Yes,
and John is going to touch on a few of those items too, to the updates that sorry, Jay, were you saying something?
oh, no, I'm trying to take my hand down, sorry.
And so, so go ahead, John, if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. This is just a couple of very minor updates as far as just the date of the revision on top there. And in regards to training, I talked to Molly this morning. She's given training to the few remaining individuals who need trained, and also some new hires. And then other than that, just a couple minor items on the physical items in the city-owned buildings. And since there was only a few, I'll just touch on them real quick here. I mean, there was a few minor updates, and a lot of them actually haven't been done. Some ADA parking stalls at the RVT area. I talked to management there today. They are going to repaint them and hatch them as soon as the weather breaks, so very soon. And I added a couple. Yeah, there were some action items on here that didn't require. There were some items on here that didn't require any action, so I just kind of marked them off as okay. And then additionally, also down at the RVT area, the picnic table in the front lawn was not accessible. Since then, a concrete pad has been poured, and the picnic table is now accessible. So other than that, that's the only items I added to the working work plan. So that's it.
Was the RVT accessible parking, Jay, was that or Misty or Karen, was that what you were discussing? Was the line painting, or was there something in addition to that?
This is Misty. I think that was the same. I think we're referencing the same item. Can we move back a little bit? There was an email sent from Jay to the committee on April 13th that outlined sort of the work plan with the city's changes, and then outline the consent decree and how it sort of laid out our process for making the work plan modifications. And I just wanted to make sure we all received and understood that, and if we should expect to receive the attached work plan that was, outlined those changes and attached to that correspondence with these additional, I guess these would be changes too, or additional changes. Should we expect to receive that?
What do you, I guess I John,
I think I
could-
know. I think I know what Misty's talking about there. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think Misty or Jay, was that essentially the Excel sheets that I had, and then you guys reprinted them into your own format? Is that the same? Or am I missing something
Yeah,
there?
they're the ones we went through. I sent them
Okay.
out that was on
Yeah.
I guess Wednesday. And we had gone through the things that had yet to be completed and with the timelines and things like that you saw.
Yep. So those are the
And then-
exact same items. I mean, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, yeah, so according to the consent decree, it outlines the process for the work plan to be discussed at the joint committee, any proposed changes to be discussed among us at the joint committee, and then a follow-up in writing, which we were attempting to do, sort of put all of what we thought you were requesting as modifications or changes to the work plan in one document, so we could sort of go through it there and make sure we had everything all at once, so that we're not continuing to go back and change the work plan often. And so we also put in, it says basically detail of the text of the requested change, the reason for the request, the discussion of alternatives considered. The request shall also state that the requesting party is not aware of additional requests for modifications. And so we were trying to use that outline for the changes. And we were hoping, or that's what I'm asking, is if we can expect to see that with those, that attachment with the proposed detail that we're requesting, and then the additional information that we received today included.
I think
Does that
that's
make
what
sense?
John just updated, but I guess if you say, I don't, as far as when we continue on, for example, once the weather permits us to do the line painting, then we'll go in and mark that as completed. Is that what you're saying, Misty?
Not really.
I mean, if you're saying additional, the only time we'll add or update it is, as, items are getting completed. The one today, John, I believe, did send that out. That's a document that's, can be accessed via is it Google Docs, John, wherever we have it?
No, it's just all one big PDF. That's all it is.
Okay.
OneDrive is the
Right.
way this today I just emailed it, but
Yeah, John, I think that's it.
so-
I think you have all that now, Misty.
So and perhaps I'm missing it. That's why we were trying to put it in one condensed format or one condensed document. The work plan was approved April 11th. And then on March 11th, I think we received from you, John, sort of a mock-up of all of the changes to the work plan. And that's what I'm referencing.
Okay.
I didn't see all the detail that's requested in the consent decree that I just recited. And I think the format that we developed and shared with you in that April 13th email outlines that information.
okay.
So we just need, perhaps another comment section to answer those questions. Detail of text, requesting the change, the reason for the request, the discussion of the alternatives considered, and then, we can discuss that here. And that's sort of what I thought we were going to do, is kind of go through that document and discuss all the changes we saw to the work plan as of March 11th. And then, of course, we can incorporate the ones that you sent today.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm just wondering, what's the, when we update that work plan, were there questions on John's, like for the example, for the painting, is there questions on that? I mean, I guess, what are the,
Yes.
what are the
So
questions?
So Derek, we're looking back at the first set of changes that came in. When you say update, I assume that you're meaning the changes that John added to the work plan, which we consider those to be changes. Those changes would be modifications to the work plan. So we're trying to follow the consent decree to make sure we go through each of those. There's a significant amount of tasks that John, you had said you were removing, right?
No,
There
I
was a
saw,
second-
let's just pick an item, for instance, item number 72. It happens to be the RBT building. Has a line through an arrow and it says done. I mean, that's just acknowledging the
So
fact that it's done.
I'm back to the March, that's today's version. I'm sorry. I'm still back to the March 11th version that you sent us with the many changes. And if you want a specific example, we can look at item 8, trade and
Okay.
transit.
Okay. Item 8.
Yes.
Okay.
It says, it's crossed off and said, oh no, I'm sorry, item 10. Item 8 didn't have a deadline. I think that one was left out. Item 10 says, work to be completed by 3/10/22, and then you crossed that out and said no longer in use.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that what you're requesting is a modification to the work plan that would remove that. So we just wanted we wanted to follow the consent decree to get those details on that and any other ones that you were removing or modifying.
Well, I think, I think that it's there. It says it's no longer in use. What more detail would you need, I guess, is my question.
Is it no longer in use to staff and public?
Trade and transit 1, second floor, offices, the end of the city office in the corridor, break room sink. That would be the break rooms. It's no longer, and that one is, I know exactly where that's at. It's not accessible to the public. But I don't know.
Is it used by staff?
I don't think anyone uses that, but that's, again, it's not in use. So I guess I don't know what you're.
I'm trying to understand if it's in use to the public and staff, or it sounds like it's not in use to the public and it would just be in use to staff. Or are you saying it's not in use at all?
That's the one at the end of the corridor, John?
Yeah, I think it's downstairs. Yeah, end of the corridor. Correct. You see which item she's talking about? 10.
Yeah, I see. I don't think that's in use by anyone.
I'm sorry, did you say you didn't think that was in use for anyone?
I don't believe so. I mean, we can check on it.
Okay, well, I think certainly we would want to have those details in order to modify the plan. So that would be very helpful. And that's sort of the consistent question all the way through the sum 2, 5, 30 or more changes. Yeah, to the work plan.
Okay, we'll run that by our legal counsel, then we'll be back to make sure we're doing it appropriately.
So, okay, and then, so perhaps we could discuss those here if there are any modifications.
I don't
like
think we have
that.
any additional modifications, just we're just going to continue to update it as we get things done.
So when you say update, Derek, I'm confused. The consent decree calls for a process to be followed with any modifications to the work plan. The work plan was approved April 11th. And so any changes or updates to the work plan would be modifications to the work plan if it changes or alters it in any way. Wouldn't you agree?
So what you're saying is you don't want us to let you know when stuff gets finished? I guess I'm confused.
No, that's a very good question, actually. I think that's next on our agenda. We wanted to have some dialogue on when things are completed. That's certainly not a change. But if you're removing anything from the plan or altering it in any way, that would be a modification, which are what all these seem to be.
All right, well, let me consult with our legal counsel to be sure I don't want to say the wrong thing. Then I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Well, this
So
is- oh, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead, Karen.
No.
One more thing before you go, Karen. So
ahead.
based on the completed, let's talk about that real quick. What should we expect, or how will we go about completing and removing anything from the work plan, as you know, or indicating that it's completed? In the consent decree, there was a section that allows for the plaintiffs to come and sort of review and confirm that the upgrades were made. We also discussed the possibility of Mark Derry coming back and doing an assessment to confirm that everything was updated. I think we have a couple different ways we can do that. So do we want to discuss how that's done?
Well, like for the ramp, for example, Mark Derrick came back, and I believe all of you were there, or most of you were there, as he did that inspection. So yeah, as things need inspected, we'll have a certified inspector, inspect it and make sure it meets all the ADA requirements.
So based on that, so it sounds like perhaps you're going to be bringing Mark to come back in after these are all completed for an assessment?
Potentially Mark or an ADA inspector. If it's not Mark, it will be a certified one as things need inspected. So yeah, anything that requires a certified ADA inspection, absolutely, we will make sure we have a certified ADA inspector look at it.
Okay, so that's so the consent decree doesn't require that we have a certified ADA inspector come in, and so my question is just, how do we want to handle that here? Do you want, if the plan is that we will have a certified ADA
I think that's outside of this committee. I'll run that by our legal counsel again, but I think that's outside our scope. You all can run it by yours if that makes you feel more comfortable, but then we'll go from there. But anything that the city needs to be inspected, which John, as a city engineer, is well aware of what requires an inspection and what doesn't. Anything that requires an inspection, the city absolutely will have it inspected. And like you all did with the ramp,
okay.
you're welcome to
Yeah.
come and Mark or whomever. I believe Mark explained all of his calculations and how he does the inspection for the ramp. And if it's Mark again, I'm sure he'll do that. And if it's someone else, he'll do that.
Okay.
But I don't think that's in the purview of this committee.
Okay, so based on the consent decree and us having the ability to come in and do the inspection ourselves, just to confirm that the item was completed, and based on the information provided to us so far, where there's a significant portion of upgrades that you're saying are completed, can we set up a time to come in and have somebody take us to the different
No, not today.
buildings?
I'll run that by our attorney and see how we should handle that moving forward.
Okay, so we'll wait to hear back from you on how to schedule that piece. Okay. All right, sorry, Karen, I'm done.
No problem. Thank you, Misty. I just wanted to step back. I think at the start of the meeting, Derek, I believe you had indicated, or maybe it was John, that Molly Shrimp has begun the process of doing the training for the folks that did not have the initial training and for the new hires. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, I will apologize in advance if I have missed the curriculum, but I don't recall ever seeing the curriculum. And did the joint committee approve the curriculum that was being used for this?
No, because on advice of our attorney, we don't need to talk about that at this committee.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek, what was that?
On the advice of our legal counsel, that's not needed to be discussed here during the joint committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a part of the consent decree, but okay.
Yeah, it definitely is part of the consent decree and the work plan, and I shared the the different pieces pertaining to it. So I assume we'll be waiting to hear back from you, Derek, on that as well.
I don't think I have anything further to say on that. That was our council opinion, and so I don't know if your council wants to reach out to our council, but I've already shared our position on that. So I don't think we have anything further to say on that front. Anything else, or are we good here?
This is Karen again. There was just one thing I was hoping to clarify, Derek, or if you could clarify for me how the process works if a person goes online and files the complaint for lack of access, or if a person submits it in writing. How is that then processed by the city, and what should somebody that has filed a grievance anticipate as a result of this filing? Thank you.
Do you mean like the resolution? So when you file a complaint, I think we discussed this at an earlier meeting. The department head or whomever the complaint gets sent to, and then they let me know, and then we work towards a resolution. Are you aware of, is there an issue?
Well, I was just wondering what that time frame was from when somebody at the city, whether it's yourself or someone that you've designated, in which they're going to get back to the person that filed the initial complaint.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think we said it depends on what the severity of the, like, for example, I think you filed one of Karen over here on Court Street, I believe. And I got it to Joe Girardi and Gary Narr, and then they resolved that. I believe that was maybe a day or so. But I think we said it depends on how quickly the resolution can come about.
Well, I bring it up, Derek, because I believe if you go to the City of Williamsport website, it indicates that your person will have a response within 24 to 48 hours from the time that the complaint was filed, I guess, for the lack of better terms. And there was a gentleman here who lives in the city on Scott Street who I had assisted to fill one out about 10 days ago. And he indicated he's not heard anything back from anybody with the administration. And I also had filed one, Derek, on the 11th. Now, I believe I've just gotten the answer to that today. It was regarding the striping at RVT. And you did mention earlier in this meeting that will be done when the weather is appropriate and as part of the spring contract. But I just wanted to clarify so I could go back to the public and let them know what to expect if they do file one, what the time frame for the city to reply is. Thank you, Derek.
Sure.
This is Misty, and the last, I know you mentioned that you didn't want to discuss the policies, the ADA policies and procedures, but that was something we discussed at the last joint committee meeting, and again, is in the work plan.
Misty, you went really low all of a sudden. We can't hear you.
Yeah, your volume just changed, Missy. Maybe you might have bumped your speaker or something.
Is this any better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. So my last question was, we discussed the ADA policy.
You muted again.
When?
I think can you hear me now?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. We discussed the ADA policies and procedures at previous joint committee meetings. We didn't finalize them. Will they be sent to the joint committee to be finalized soon?
At this point, no, I don't believe so, because our legal counsel said that's not, again, for this committee. So if there's questions on that, I would just have your counsel contact our counsel.
All right. Well, it sounds like there's not much more that we can discuss here, and that perhaps we will have to wait again for our legal counsel to allow us to move forward. All right. That's all I have then.
All right. Have a good day, everyone, then. Thank you.
Yeah.